Good morning, everyone, and good morning to everyone who will see this on the recording later today. We're really glad that you came out physically to see and hear what is going on today. So we are going to have Sunday, we are going to have a special hospitality in honor of Dr. Moira, especially for those who are unable to come to the gala on Saturday. Of course, the gala is this Saturday. It starts at 3 p.m. And if you have tickets, you want to think about getting here and being dressed up or whatever you're going to wear and enjoy that event. Now, moving forward in December to December the 10th, we are celebrating our Remembrance Day on that day. And so we are collecting the photographs that you may have of your loved ones, those that you are interested in sharing as part of our video that we will show on December the 10th. And you do need to have them here by Monday, December the 4th. So please remember that deadline and make it easy for everyone who needs to put all that together and make it really pretty and meaningful. Also on December the 4th, the men's group is going to be meeting out there in the foyer. They begin at 7 p.m. And this coming Thursday, that's Thursday, a week from tomorrow, we will be having the spiritual discussion group is going to be. So that's next week. And it's at 2 p.m. and it goes from 2 to 3:30. And at 3:45, we have the Labyrinth Walk next door in Richelieu Hall. We also have on Friday, December the 8th, the Soundscape Orchestra is going to be in concert in Richelieu Hall. And they're going to do a special Christmassy kind of thing. And so it's really great fun. Starts at 6 o'clock. So come and be a part of that. They usually have dance music. Many people dance at these. And so if that's something that tickles you, then you want to be sure and remember that. So it's Friday, December the 8th at 6 p.m. Now we have a new announcement about moving into the Christmas season. We will start doing our poinsettia dedications. So if you want to do that, the forms are available at the front desk. And also we're letting you know you get to take the poinsettias home after our Christmas Eve service, which is going to be on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. On December the 10th, going back to the day of Remembrance Sunday, the women's group is hosting a Christmas salad luncheon. So if you want to, it's a salad potluck. So we're going to have an array of salads from which to choose. So sign up out there so that we know exactly how many salads we have, because if we only have 2, we might have to stretch. So I'm just saying, sign up and bring a salad. It's one of the easiest things to do. Even me with no kitchen, I can manage salads easily. So that is Sunday, December the 10th. And then on this Sunday, also after our service, choir practice is meeting in the sanctuary. Even if you haven't started with this choir, you are welcome to be part of this. I counted maybe 20 people last Sunday. I think 30 would be a nice number. So maybe find somebody, bring somebody, and get us a nice fat choir to sing on our Christmas Eve service. And now, continuing with our Christmas season, we still have Angel Project, although we are running out of days, and Jan Mintz is going to come up and share with you the latest that she has to say.
Thank you, Reverend Catherine. Good morning, everybody. And I'm going to actually read from a letter that we got last year from Angel Project, most of you know, is our biggest giving event of the year, where we adopt 40 families locally here in the South Bay through 3 social service agencies. And so these are our neighbors who are finding themselves maybe food insecure, housing insecure, needing some help with presents for the kids. So last year, one of our coordinators wrote this to us. The gift card theme seems to be a hit with the families. We found the families feel a part of the giving process. Last year, the family members shopped for each other, they wrapped together, and had a different appreciation for each of your giving hearts. Your continuing act of human kindness brought a sense of devotedness and joy that was much needed beyond the financial hardship. It is an honor to be part of this extraordinary team of givers. So I get a little teary-eyed about that. But that's all of us, you guys, and we're close to our goal this year. We are doing again the gift cards, and we will take cash, check, or credit card. Our internet's a little sketchy at this time, but we will run your credit cards through. So if you're watching at home, you can call into the office and you can donate that way. You can drop your check off here if you need to between the hours of 10 and 4. This Sunday is our last day to collect. So we had a short window this year, but I'm just knowing you guys are going to come through and bless these families the way that we are blessed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jan. I have always believed that the Angel Project is the best thing that we do all year long. And we have a lot of outreach projects, but it has been meaningful to me for a very long time. So I appreciate the fact that we're doing it. So one more thing to suggest as part of participating in our holiday season, you're invited to buy one ornament to put on our Christmas tree out there in the foyer. So if you would like to have your very own, just put it on there and donate it. All you have to do is buy it and put it on. So I haven't bought mine yet, but I'm thinking about exactly what kind of special something. So make it look like you or make it look traditional, whatever suits you. I think it sounds like a great, big, fun thing to do. We never leave this platform, especially in the season that we're in and especially the times we're living in, without a deep felt thank you to those who volunteer at this center. They're back there in the back today. They're in the room. They are doing so many things, from kitchen work to this gala to even office type work. We appreciate everything that everyone does. It makes such a huge difference. So a great big thank you from everyone. And now the spotlight shifts to our wonderful speaker today, Mr. Marc Ruth.
Well, good morning. Unlike Reverend Mary, who finishes with a prayer, I always like to start with a prayer. And what I do is I tap into Ernest Holmes, and I try to find something that ties into my topic. So if you're listening closely, maybe you'll hear some of my topic in Ernest Holmes' words. So join with me in consciousness as I go within. Today, I bestow the essence of love upon everything. My soul meets the soul of the universe in everyone. Today, I realize that the Spirit incarnated in me, God as my own being, constitutes the only reality I have. Consciously, I unify myself with this pure spirit in which I live, move, and have my being. I know that the love of God surrounds me with love and friendship. I permit this love and friendship to flow out to all things, to all people, everywhere. I let it radiate in my environment, bless everything I touch, make whole that which is weak, turn fear into faith, and accomplish the miracle of healing through love. Whatsoever things are good and true, I shall think upon. This I shall remember, that the Spirit is not far off. I shall remind myself that I live in the divine presence, that my affairs are in the keeping of the eternal mind. I live, move, and have my being in wholeness, peace, poise, and power, which belongs to my kingdom. I give joy and love to all, knowing that the gift of life is not to me alone. I share my good. I welcome the opportunity to love fully, completely, and joyfully. I believe in myself because I believe in God. I accept life fully, completely, without reservation, holding to the conviction that good is the eternal reality, that God is everlasting presence, that Christ within me is the eternal guide, that my life is complete today. And so it is. Now, I want to thank you all for attending, and I'd like to thank the ministers who give me this opportunity to address and speak to you. You know, I think maybe I'm just giving them a little bit of a break, so maybe it's a win-win there, I don't know. But I came up with this topic, who am I? I came up with this topic about 6 weeks ago, and I got it basically from, not Emerson, it was Troward. And because I was taking that class, The Roots of Science of Mind, where we looked at Emerson, Emma Curtis Hopkins, and Troward, and comparing it to Holmes. So as soon as I came up with that topic of, well, who am I? I flashed back to when I was taking my practitioner oral exam. And this oral exam, you got to pass it, otherwise you're not a practitioner. And so you have a senior minister there from a different center, a practitioner, and another minister. I wasn't practicing science of mind because I was extremely nervous. I mean, I tried to have as much technical information in my mind to spew out as soon as they asked the question. There was one single chair. I'm sitting in front of these three women. And the senior minister says to me, well, who are you? Well, I am a spiritual being having a physical experience on this plane. And she goes, well, that's nice, but I just wanted you to tell me a little bit about yourself. So I don't know if I got off on the right foot or the wrong foot there, because I totally misinterpreted her question. So that reminded me of, well, who am I? So in exploring the roots of science of mind and how these three people really influenced Ernest Holmes, I surely did not realize, because I had not read very much of Emma Curtis Hopkins. Now, Holmes, you know, they say, well, he took a class, you know, from the teacher of teachers. That's what Emma Curtis Hopkins was known as. He took a class. So you're thinking, is this a year-long class? Is this a semester? What is this? No, they looked at one book, 12 chapters, 1 hour per chapter. We, in the class, only read 4 of the chapters, but that was good enough for me. So I'd like to, if we can see a quote from Emma, if it's up there, no? Oh, yes, there it is. The first lesson of the science of mind tells the foundation idea of mind. It has been called the statement of being. Being is that which is. Emma Curtis Hopkins in Christian Mental Practice. Now, this was written in 1914, because Holmes was the student. So he took this class sometime after 1914. But before he wrote the book in like 1926, the textbook called science of mind. Now, that's one hell of an influence. When Emma Curtis, I'm reading this, she used science of mind. And so did Ernest Holmes. So that just told me how great of an influence this was. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Reverend Valerie gave a talk on change your thinking, change your life. I happened to be the one doing the mini lesson on that day. And I said, that's like a shorthand buzzword. Change your thinking, change your life. It's a little shorthand. I think there's more to it than that, but I think that was a good start. And I said, it's kind of like when you hear, and this is what I said in the mini lesson, it's kind of like when you hear, well, the proof is in the pudding. Proof is in the pudding. What, is something stuck in the pudding? Is it like a Chinese fortune? What evidence is there? Because that's not the actual saying. The actual saying is the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Makes a little bit of a difference. So I pointed out, I used a quote from Troward where, he said something, well, the real answer here is changing your beliefs. Not just change your thinking, but changing your beliefs. I said, okay, I'll buy into that. Now, what I did is not Holmes, but Troward, and I think I need the overhead quote here. We must start from where we are now, and by rightly estimating our relationship to the divine universal mind, we can gradually grow into any conditions we desire, provided we first make ourselves in habitual mental attitude the person who corresponds to those conditions. So, who am I? I have to be the person that corresponds to the conditions that I want to bring into my life. If I want a loving relationship, I have to be a loving person. If I want generosity to flow my way, I have to be generous. And there's the law of attraction. What you are truly feeling, your deep-seated beliefs, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. So when you have that consciousness, you set in motion the law, and it starts attracting things to you in ways that you can never fully imagine. Why? The law is infinite. Your finite mind is limited. That's why sometimes people, when they do the treatment, say this or something better. So that is an important aspect. Now, so during this class, this quote by Troward saying, kind of like, I got to be the person who brings in the conditions. So I go, hey, and when we were in the class, the extensive reading, Dr. Sharon and Reverend Kathy said, well, if you just get a glimmer, focus on that glimmer, something that resonates with you. Because if you're reading all of this stuff and you're just overwhelmed, if you're trying to read every line and understand every line, you're going to get mired. So I saw this little glimmer. And then I saw it happening with Emerson. I saw it happening with Emma. And I saw it also with Troward. So I think I have a quote from Emerson to show you how he tied into this, because don't forget, on a timeline, Emerson's the first one, and Holmes said, reading Emerson is like drinking a cool glass of water. Whew, I have read Emerson, wasn't drinking a cool glass of water. it consists in a perpetual substitution of being for seeming. And with subline proprietary, God is described as I am. Oh, that's Emerson. Took me a while to see the glimmer in that. But what caught my eye was the substitution of being for seeming. Because who am I? Well, I am a human being. Like Dr. Moira says, I'm not a, I am a human doer. But Dr. Moira always said, well, who are you when you show up? Meaning, what's your consciousness when you're doing? So I sit back and I said, okay, I got my little glimmer, but do I fully understand what he's talking about? So I go to the dictionary. Seeming, appearing to be real or true, but not necessarily so. Outward appearance as distinguished from reality. Whoa, he is saying, no, you got to be the real thing. You can't just appear to be the real thing. Because if you have underlying beliefs that don't line up, then you're really sending a new message. You're sending a new treatment. You're undercutting your other consciousness, your other treatment that I'm perfect, whole, and complete. Now, I think we do have another quote from Troward. I hope I'm not getting confused here. Maybe I am. Oh, that's Gandhi. Nope, that's coming next. Yeah, Troward, let's try this one. Nope, we've already done that one. Okay.
I see the one, sorry.
What?
I only see one quote from Troward.
Oh? Well, let me check my list. Let me check my other list. Yeah, you're right. I must have really liked it. Okay. So, as we've talked about Emerson, got the glimmer from him. It's what you got to be, not what you appear to be. Okay? Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at 3 areas and see if we can tie it into this, who am I? Or maybe who am I really? So we're going to take a look at be the change. I think you've all heard that, right? Be the change. You've all heard the golden key, yes? And treat and move your feet. So let's take a look at that. Now we can go to Gandhi. You know, I always love quoting attorneys. It just makes me feel good. You did know that Gandhi was an attorney, right? I did not know that. Yeah, you learn something new every day. What can I say? If we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. As a man changes his own nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards him. This is the divine mystery supreme. That is the actual quote. Not be the change, not be the change you want to be in the world. No, that's the actual quote. And so you have to get the little glimmer from that as to what he's talking about. So, but he is talking about be the change, because you're talking about as he changes his own nature. Own nature is his essence. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. So, and once again, going back to Emerson, it's not seeming, it's really being, substituting being for seeming. Okay, now another area is the golden key. And the golden key is once again shorthand from Emmett Fox. Take your mind off the problem and put it on God. We've all heard that. Now, when I heard that initially, and probably for 5 years thereafter, maybe longer, I thought I had a concept of, well, I just think about the God. But I think it's more than that. You know, what is the essence of God? What is it? Is it peace, love, harmony, joy? Well, if that's the case, then in doing or in being the golden key, you have to take your mind off whatever problem it is and do the opposite. And what is the opposite? Probably one of those aspects of God. Okay? But remember, the trick is you have to be that essence. Because if you're not that essence, then what are you attracting? Can you have hate and revenge in your mind and love at the same time? Holmes ponders that question. I want you to have it, and you heard in the prayer treatment, or the opening prayer, that no, it's the essence is love, peace, harmony. Okay, now I think hopefully I'll be right on this one. We'll go with Ernest Holmes. There we go, Ernie. In order to have this friendship enduring, we should cultivate an attitude of friendship toward everybody and everything. The reason for this, all is mind, and as we attract to us what we first become, until we learn to love, we are not sending out love vibrations. That's what I've been talking about. Attracting to us what we first become. So, yeah, you got to have your positive thoughts. You got to think about what you want to bring into your life, which is the opposite of the problems or challenges that you're having. But the key then is, who are you becoming? Who am I? Am I love? Am I peace? Am I harmony? Yeah, I got another quote from Holmes. Holmes says, this is on the golden key. It's in my section on the golden key. One must bring themselves to the place in mind where there is no misfortune, no calamity, no accidents, no trouble, no confusion, where there is nothing but plenty, peace, power, life, and truth. They should daily, using their own name, declare the truth about themselves. Maybe that is the truth from Ruth. I didn't have it in my talk, but somebody mentioned it. That is the truth from Ruth, where you have to declare the truth about themselves. You know, Ernest Holmes, he didn't always call it a prayer treatment. Sometimes he called it a statement of truth. What is the truth about you, of who you are? That starts setting the whole law of attraction into motion. Now, sometimes there are consequences to not doing that. This caught my eye in Emma Curtis Hopkins in the Christian Mental Practice. A habit of running people down. I don't think she's talking about in a vehicle. I think she's talking about putting people down. A habit of running people down will run some healthy part of our body down into disease. Well, I don't like to think I got this cold because I was running and it went down. But there's also another theory on getting colds and maybe other diseases, and that is, if you look back of what has been going in your life for the past 10 days, and you go, oh, well, let's see. We had Thanksgiving. Fortunately, we were at Monica's sister's, and there was about 30 people. And then, of course, my daughter and her 2 kids from Colorado, so the leftovers were Friday. The kids are doing all these activities. I even got to throw an axe. I don't know if I can say that was stressful or not, but kind of like that whole weekend, I don't know. I think there might have been some stress involved there. And what was the consequence? Okay, my immune system gets down a little bit and I catch a cold. Which always, interesting question. What runs faster, hot or cold? Cold? Yeah. Why? You can catch cold. Ooh, ooh. Okay, that was spontaneous. Maybe I shouldn't go off script like that. I don't know. Okay. Now, we got the next one of treat and move your feet. And once again, that's a little shorthand. I think we have a quote. Well, let me tell you first my research on this. I said, okay, I know somewhere, and I consulted my expert, Monica, and she said, yes, in spiritual economics, Butterworth talks about that. Okay. Fortunately, I only had to read 19 pages. It was on page 19. And he says, well, and the Quakers say, when you pray, move your feet. I said, oh, okay, that's pretty good. I go on the internet. I don't see anything about the Quakers. Zip, zero, none. What I do see is that it's a West African proverb, that when you pray, move your feet. Now, somebody speculated that this wasn't West Africa. This came in through the Baptist church where they were dancing and stuff. I can't speak to any of that. I can't speak to the truth of the internet. But I got Butterworth saying, I don't know when he wrote the book, in the 40s or something. So I don't know, maybe they didn't have the internet then. But that's just a sidelight. Okay, now we can have Troward. I know he's got to be there. Oh, wait, maybe that's my quote. Doggone it. That's my quote from the Edinburgh Lectures. He wrote, the more generally advisable method is by changing the direction of thought. And instead of centering our thought upon something we intend to do, letting our thought dwell quietly upon what we are. That gets back to Dr. Moira. Are you a human doing or are you a human being? What is going to attract things into your life? Yeah, doing nice charitable work and all of that is great, but having the consciousness of giving and being of service, now that is what's going to attract abundance. So, now, I'm not saying don't move your feet. It's an interesting proposition to think, well, if my thoughts are things, and if my thoughts are creative, well, then I can just think about it, and I'm going to attract things into my life. I'm just going to sit on the couch and wait for things to happen. I think that's a possibility. I think Reverend Mary tells the story about her sister or cousin or somebody. Did a prayer treatment for someone significant in her life. And the FedEx guy or the UPS guy shows up at her door. they end up in a relationship. So I guess you can sit on the couch occasionally and attract things into your life. Now, once again, whether that is the proof is in the pudding or whether that the proof of the pudding is in the eating, I can't speak to that. I'm just re-quoting another source. That's all I'm doing there. So we've talked about this glimmer that I think turned into a gem of who you are, your being, your state of being, your consciousness. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. So, I would have to say the conclusion is, who am I? I think I'm a spiritual being having a physical experience on this plane, expressing spirit from my highest point of view. Because I think that's what it's all about. Yeah, we do have physical experiences, but the essence is we are in alignment with our source, our one, and that is what we attract into our life. So I'd like to finish with a quick quote from Holmes. Everything necessary to the full and complete expression of the most boundless experience is mine now. Know this, see it, feel it, and be it. And so it is. So any further questions on history or golf or bowling? Yes, I could give you a few tips on axe throwing. Don't let it go too far back, yes. Because then you're overthrowing and it's going to go into the ground. Yes, very good. Thank you. Yeah, well, I've only done it once, but okay, got that experience off my list. Moving on to the next one. It will not be parachuting. I'll tell you that. All right, any questions? No historical questions? Okay. A prayer treatment? I mean, I got...
Do the offering.
Oh, shoot. That wasn't in my list. Is that Vincent up there? Thank you, Vincent. You're on top of it. Okay, now is the time for us to have our consciousness of giving and our generosity. And so our prayer, do we have it? Yeah. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love, and so it is. Now we'll have Ruth make the collection. George, I always welcome your insights.
I think I probably took the same class. I think I probably took the same class that you did many years ago, learning about Troward and Emma and
Yeah.
et cetera. And I'm just wondering, does the center have that same? It was very it really got me into this teaching and this church. And I'm just wondering whether in the near future that the center is contemplating the same class again.
Well, I doubt that. They might have a similar class, but probably they'll be moving on to other certified classes that'll be able to certify someone to then get into practitioner. So they'll probably moving forward with that process.
Reverend Mary's going to be teaching spiritual economics starting in January. Reverend Mary's going to be teaching spiritual economics. He mentioned about Butterworth. It's a great book.
Mary will be teaching spiritual economics in January by Butterworth, and Monica says that's a good book. And I believe her with all my heart. Okay, no other questions? Okay, well, we learned one thing today, that Gandhi was an attorney. So. All right, yeah, he practiced in South Africa, and he did a lot of work on discrimination in Africa. He was educated and got his law degree in England, I believe. Because who else would spend the rest of his life walking around in a diaper other than an attorney, right? Okay, well, thank you very much for being here. Okay, you're welcome.